Those who would hunt a man need to remember that a jungle also contains those who hunt the hunters. Ubtao is the god of the wild jungle peninsula, known as Chult. He is also known as the creator of Chult, the founder of Mesro, as the father of the dinosaurs, or among the followers of the primordial elemental deities, he is known as Ubtao the Deceiver. Within the Chiltern Peninsula, there is no higher authority than him, for he is the land itself, and by his creation, the maze of life unfolds. The father of the dinosaurs usually appears as a giant Tyrannosaurus Rex, double the largest of its kind in size, towering above the treetops and shaking the ground with taloned feet. When taking humanoid form, he manifests as a neatly regal male Chultan tribesman, or as a tabaxi with skin the color of fertile earth and emotionless eyes that stare off into the distance. He may also manifest as any number of jungle spirits, or as a deafening roar of all of the dinosaurs raising their voices in unison. Long before the sundering of the worlds that created Toril, all of life dwelled within the great oceans of a once unified realm of a bear Toril. This was known as the Blue Age, marked by the Dawn War between God and Primordial for dominance over the land. This age ended when an ancient creature known as Dendor the Night Serpent, being an elder evil primordial who feeds upon the fears of gods and mortals both, rose up into the sky and swallowed the sun, ushering in the Shadow Epoch, whereupon the vast majority of life perished. Within the darkness, the Dawn War raged on until the primordial Ubtao betrayed his own kind and turned the war in the favor of the gods. In exchange, he received sole dominance over a piece of primordial land that he had created. This peninsula was named Chult, and at its heart a fiery cluster of active volcanoes known as the Peak of Flame hid a great iron door, behind which Dendor, the Night Serpent, was sealed away forever. As Ubtao's reward for serving as Dendor's jailer, the gods agreed to exclude their religions from spreading into Chultan land. Thus, the savage jungles were left to the sole care of their father primordial, a land of secrets forgotten by time. Some 25,000 years ago, Ubtao called upon a race of large feathered serpents with rainbow-colored wings known as coatls to settle within his land. Then 4,000 years ago, the coatl came to be worshipped as gods in a distant land known as Katashaka, and they led their followers to settle within Chult to serve the feathered serpents and Ubtao together. These tribes included a race of cat people known as Tabaxi, and two human tribes, being the Thinguth, who settled in the broad plains of Thindle, and the Ashau, who lived within the jungles. Meanwhile, the Tabaxi built a great holy city dedicated to Ubtao named Mesro. 2,000 years ago, a war broke out between the Ashau and the Tabaxi that raged for nearly 300 years. Turning away from Ubtao's fatherly aspect, the Ashao had come to worship him as a dark antithesis, the shadow giant, whom they named Ashaodao. Their war against the Tabaxi culminated when they summoned their god, which nearly destroyed the holy city before turning upon his own followers and annihilating their armies. Today, the chosen of Ubtao have nearly hunted the Ashao people to extinction, and unbeknownst to all but the most informed scholars of Chult, the dark goddess Shah has consumed the shadow giant and now assumes his identity, bringing the remaining Ashao tribes under her sway. Those few who know of this deception fear that it may well mark a betrayal of the ancient pact that seals the night serpent away behind the gates of fire. Much like other primordials, Ubtao is an aloof deity, largely uninterested in his followers. It is said that he once lived within the city of Mesro itself, until the demands and the adoration of his people became too irritating for him to bear. He extends the same dispassionate regard to other gods, and he is known to be a largely emotionless being. Appropriately, the father of the dinosaurs has very few allies. Save Carlon Lorethian, the head of the Elvish pantheon, and his friend Thardar, the patron of the jungle dwarves, whom he gives special dispensation to operate freely within his lands. Ironically, Ubtao's greatest enemy is his own creation, Ashaodao the Shadow Giant, now puppeted by Shah, the Mistress of the Night. Worshippers of the Father of Chult seek to prove themselves worthy to enter his divine realm within the outlands at the center of the planar wheel. It is an enormous maze-like jungle known as the Labyrinth of Life. Ubtao himself, though, prefers not to mingle with his sentient followers. Instead, he spends his time atop a realm known as the Forbidden Plateau within the Plain of the Beastlands. It is a sanctum custom-made to house him and his favorite children, the dinosaurs. Ubtao wields sorcerous powers drawn from all schools of magic, but he prefers naturalistic spells, focusing on divination, protection, and destruction. All dinosaurs within a mile of his avatar willingly obey his telepathic commands, and anyone meeting his gaze will find themselves firmly restrained by thick jungle vegetation. He is immune to magic that affects plants or animals, or that originates from the schools of enchantment or conjuration. When he assumes the form of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, he is larger and stronger than any creature on Chult. And in such form his claws shred bodies, his tail shatters stone walls, and he may swallow whole and instantly kill any creature of large size or smaller. Ubtao is a greater deity, the supreme lord of his domain, whilst his true neutral alignment reflects his utter detachment from mortal or godly affairs. His clerics tend to adopt the nature, the forge, or the grave domain, and they will turn and destroy undead. His favorite weapon is the head and the jaws of a rampaging tyrannosaur, and his divine casters will use sword-like piercing weapons made of wood and obsidian that follow the rules for a war pick. His holy time is midday, when his divine casters pray for spells as their god reaches his zenith over the land. Whilst the followers of Ubtao may be broadly referred to as Ubtaoans, they loosely fall into three groups. There are those who worship the creator of Chult directly. There are those who pay homage to the various jungle spirits and aspects of Ubtao. And then there are those who venerate the land itself, which is Ubtao as well. Their numbers include Tabaxi, tribespeople, and his most ancient followers, the Coatl. Ubtaoans refer to dinosaurs as children of Ubtao, though the giant reptiles themselves are far too stupid to venerate their creator, a fact that Ubtao seems to appreciate. Dinosaurs are believed to carry out the will of Ubtao, being deliverers of fate and of his will. For example, if a hunter manages to slay one, it is viewed as divine approval, whilst if they are killed in turn, it is said to be punishment for breaking some law of the jungle. Despite their god's jealous possession of the land, Ubtaoans are remarkably tolerant of other religions. They understand life to be a maze, through which each being must find their own path to the center. For although there are many different paths to be had, their destinations remain the same, and therefore they believe that all beings should be afforded the freedom to live in their own way. Many tribes practice their own unique rites to venerate Ubtao as the sun, as the jungle, as the dinosaurs, or as life itself. Some rituals are expected to be performed before meaningful events such as hunts or the burying of the dead. Such rites are performed before small, movable stone altars that are treated just like any other rock if they are not actively within use. Ubtaoans mark graves with tombstones of stone, of wood, or even of large, flat leaves if nothing else is available. Upon this grave marker, those closest to the deceased will write their own names, and all others will add a single word of praise, which serves as a testimonial as they are introduced to their god in the afterlife. Ubtaoan clerics are exceedingly rare, as the god seems to regard answering prayers as something of a chore. Instead, there are two main sects within his clergy that serve the higher chosen priests. First, there are the jungle druids, who are experts at survival, who guide the tribes and who prepare them for the dangers of the wilds. They will also tend to any animals that are kept by the community, and they will learn to speak in many obscure tongues spoken by other sentient jungle dwellers. For their chosen armaments and vestments, jungle druids, they will wear the clothes of their tribe, adorned with illustrations of animals and dinosaurs, and they will display the symbol of a maze carved into precious metals, into a gemstone, or into a piece of bone. Secondly, there are the spirit lords, who are shamans who commune with the spirits of the land and who guide the people through their spiritual obligations and their rites of passage. They specialize in the creation of potions and alchemical substances that are drawn from the jungle itself, and each spirit lord will carve for themselves a unique mask that is possessed by a spirit advisor. Spirit lords will often wear little more than a loincloth or a skirt made of furred animal hides or tails. Rather, they will adorn themselves with necklaces containing many animal and dinosaur trinkets. Their masks are made of ironwood, which is a valuable substance that's much stronger and lighter than oak, and these masks will serve as their holy symbols. Both varieties of cleric will often multiclass as rangers, and they use armaments unique to their people. In particular, they will often favour a short-bladed spear called a ikalwa, and a kerry being a hardwood club that can be thrown with surprising accuracy. Besides these, they sport a variety of axes, daggers, spears, bows, short swords, and scimitars. The third branch of the Ubtaoan clergy are his chosen priests, known as maze walkers. They inhabit the great city of Mesro and provide guidance and leadership to the faithful, including mediating conflicts between clans, teaching the histories of their people, and consulting various auspices to advise on major life decisions. Maze walkers champion the Ubtaoan belief in the maze of life, and as such they are sometimes criticized for inaction by their tendency to trust that the true path will be revealed in time. But nonetheless, they are enforcers of the laws of Mesro, should any person prove a threat to the community. Maze walkers wear a loose and flowing thobe, ideal for the humid heat, and during ceremonies they don carved wooden tabards marked with maze motifs, and they'll paint their faces with complex patterns around their eyes. High-ranking priests may also wear armor and helms made of dinosaur hide. Maze walkers are granted a boon, such that they will never become lost within Ubtao's jungles, and they are quite skilled at dispatching undead. As they grow in power, their minds will become sharper, being granted immunity to the maze and the confusion spells. They will learn to sense if the natural world is out of balance, and they can magically create mundane objects and read minds. The most powerful will always know the best paths to their destination. They will be able to call dinosaurs to aid them, to gain bursts of divine knowledge, and they will dampen fires in their presence. A few even possess the ability to call ethereal spirits to spy upon their foes. In addition to his worship being secluded within the Chultan Peninsula, the father of the dinosaurs has only one known temple, known as the Temple of Ubtao, or the Maze of Life, which is the tallest building in his city of Mesro. It is said to have been built by the god itself, and this 9-story buttressed tower is adorned with stained glass windows and is topped by a golden dome. It lies at the heart of the city. It is also affected by enchantments that cause it to look the same from any angle, and the crystalline structures of its walls will enthrall onlookers by reflecting images of their deepest desires. Within his grand temple, 7 powerful men and women, known as the Barret of Mesro, protect the city from harm. Unless they are killed, the Bara will live forever, and they possess superhuman abilities that will increase in power within the temple itself. If a Bara is killed, a mortal is selected to undergo a secret test, which, if successful, they will ascend to join the Barret. But if it fails, they will continue on to the afterlife. If the city were to be destroyed, the Barret would crumble to dust. Additionally, there is an elite order of warriors known as the Spear Bearers of Ubtao, who are sworn to protect the world from Dendar the Night Serpent, and they train constantly in preparation of her return. And finally, a lesser-known Ubtaoan sect are named the Followers of the Sky Serpent, also known as the Rukcho, who maintain their ancient worship of the Coatls as emissaries of their god. In my world, ill omens alight the sky, foreboding darker days that the gods are either unwilling or unable to explain. For coinciding with the Emperor's death, a great volcano at the base of the Chultan Peninsula erupted, blackening out the sky and forcing the Halruan people from their ancient homeland. Now dark elves drive up creatures from the Underdark to threaten the southern Sword Coast, enshrouding whatever lands they conquer under eternal night. 3 blood moons have graced the sky as of late, which the heretical monks of the Sigillic Order, being self-styled guardians of the world from outsiders, attribute to a force they name the Elder Eye, being a dark antithesis to life that preys upon gods themselves, who gnaws always at the edges of our reality, seeking invasion. Dubious Ogmanite inquisitors have investigated these claims and concluded that the heretics seek to describe an elder evil named Tharizdun, who is the architect of the 9 hells and who may have come to exert some influence over Shah's shadow weave. But another interpretation escapes their notice. For if Shah's domain is truly being devoured, perhaps her gambit to exert control in the dark jungles has broken the ancient pacts that secure the old primordial serpent's imprisonment. Perhaps the celestial signs now point to the rearing maw of the night serpent, unleashed or straining against her prison bars. For if the lines upon this conspiracy board approach truth, then perhaps Faerun need not concern herself with heretics, with holy wars, or with the crowning of a new emperor. For the shades of mysteries unfolding draw the eye far away towards lands forgotten, and secrets dancing to the dark rhythm of mystical jungle beats. The maze of life is marked by these truths above all others. The jungles are a test, a maze created by Ubtao for his people to traverse before they may ascend to the promised land. You should study your own maze, which is unique to your life and to your path. For you must learn its many twists and turns before you may meet its maker. For within that maze is the secret to your place in the world and the meaning of your life. And finally, pay respect to the great dinosaurs, for they are Ubtao's children, emissaries of his will, and his gift to those who walk the maze of life.